I didn't know until about 75, 1975, because it's about 46 years.
Oh, yeah, it's 46 years.
46. Let's not talk about that.
All right, let's open the meeting with the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll get this special meeting going. Nancy, you want to call roll?
Mayor Dave,
Here,
Myron Tyler,
Here.
Ken Grimgard, he's not going to be here tonight. Robert Dowdy. Here. Helen Imes. Here. Judy Carcetti.
Here.
Kathy Miller.
Here.
Chris Gaff.
there.
Okay, let's go right into the guests. We'll talk with you when we get to the constable issues, okay?
Yes, sir.
Anyone else have anything to bring up? Okay, so we'll go right to the business at hand. First one being the building that we've been talking about. I did get a quote from Mr. Fisher. I'll pass it around. This is for a 30 by 54 shed. One side is open for the bays for salt cinders. The other side are two parking stalls. You can look at it, pass it around. Thing we have to find out if we have to open this for bid. I do not know if we need to or.
Yes.
I think we probably have to, I forget what the limits are on that now, just changed some time ago, but I'm trying to think of it. Probably better get advice on this, but
Yeah, yeah. Now that picture and quote is without any electricity in the building and without a heater. That's something we'd have to do on our own. So if we have to go to bid, we would leave everyone bid it the same way. You know what I'm saying? That way we're comparing apples to apples.
Any idea what heat and electricity would be?
I have no idea. You're only gonna heat the two parking bays, so it'd probably be most efficient in my mind would be one of those gas heaters that hang at the ceiling, like, you know, yeah, the smaller ones, not them big ones like the fire company used to have, the smaller ones that,
Right.
to heat those two bays. Basically, you have to have heat. When he backs the truck in after plowing snow all night, it's gotta be melted off so you can go back to work tomorrow. Can't leave it freeze up. So,
Those radiant heaters.
yeah, I have no idea what they cost now.
Do you think it'd be better to do that, or do you think it'd be better to go through PEX in the flooring?
We could do that too. We'd have to have a boiler to do that, wouldn't we? Some type of a
Yeah, you
boiler.
could get a propane boiler.
Okay,
They have it over at the fire company.
yeah,
That one
The
we
units
did
just
over
fit right on the wall. They don't take up much space.
okay. Let's say it's something we're gonna have to look into. We're just starting this project. That's a good idea to heat the floor so it comes up. But I think it'll work just as good as one blowing from the top. Yeah. So we really can't act on that. I mean, everyone can see what we're talking and look to find out from our solicitor, Mr. Koploff, see what we have to do. If we have to open it for bid, we'll advertise it, that size of building, and see what we get. Go from there.
we're checking that,
Yes, please, because we can't build right now anyhow, because that whole bridge project, all their stuff's in the way yet.
yeah.
I mean, when the point gets to we're gonna do it, if they're still there, they're gonna move.
Mhm.
So,
I'll try to get a little Larry tomorrow.
okay, And then just as long as we know by our next regular meeting.
Yeah. I believe that's October 7th, I think, is the next meeting, I think, first Thursday.
I can't go with that. October 7th. Okay, any other discussion on that building?
Yeah, October 7th is next.
Does, looking at the picture, does it look like, that's something that, is gonna cover our needs?
Yeah.
Now, he did, if you see on that picture, he kept it all one height. And I think it's what, 16 feet? 14. Okay, he went out to Green Township and measured theirs where they backed the dump truck in and dumped, and it was like 18 feet. He says, you're adding a lot of money to go that high. He says, if you're gonna have a skid steer, if you're going to rent a skid steer for the winter, can't you dump it in the opening and push it in with the skid steer? Can we? Ryan, what's your feeling?
You can, I would, if you're gonna do that, I'd make sure you concrete it far enough out, because if you dump salt on top of bare dirt, it's just gonna turn it up about a manhole.
Right. We'll have
Yeah,
a,
you always have to make sure you concrete it far enough that you can clean it up pretty good.
yeah, an apron out in front.
You know,
Yeah, they get back part way in and dump, and then they have to pull ahead to
yeah,
get the whole way up.
We're probably not gonna have a semi dumping anyway.
they're probably cleaning up triaxle.
Yeah, see, they dump with a semi.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So triaxle would be much better, because they can get part way in and get most of the load off.
Yeah,
Okay. So you think we're good with that height?
I didn't see the plan, so
Okay.
I'll look at it then.
And he also said, now he kept the whole building at one height, the, what was it? 14?
Yeah.
14. Now he said, the two parking bays are also at 14 feet. He said we can drop it down if we want to, and that, you know. So if we want to drop it down, I think we're probably good with 10 feet in there. What do you guys think? And we're to say the truck is going to park. 10 feet height in there. The doors for them bays are 10 by 12, so you'd have to go probably 11 feet height.
11 feet.
And that's gonna save us money by cutting down half that building, the height.
At least that way, if he has to tilt the bed up a little bit, he can.
Yeah, on the plow truck, yeah.
What's the dump height on the Borough's truck? If you would ever have to do like maintenance in it, have to put the bed up and you don't want to be outside.
You'll never get at that.
Well,
The
measure
truck itself is 8 foot or 8.5 feet.
8.5.
That's the truck itself.
So maybe we're better off to stay with the whole thing this height.
Yeah,
Probably.
That way, if we do need to raise it, we can at least get it part way up and block it and do whatever we need to do.
Yeah, that's true.
it's 9 foot 4 inches with the plow. If you measure the plow,
Wide.
wide,
Okay, and these are
12.
12 wide
That's good.
bays.
That's good.
So let's see, okay, let's just go with these dimensions for quotes if we need to quote it, okay? Okay, hopefully we can get an answer and we'll act on this next meeting so we can get this ball rolling. Okay, anything else on the building?
And yeah, did he give you any timeline, how long it would take him to do that or anything like that?
If Jake does it, he could probably do it beginning of next month already.
Wow.
He would get us worked in and have us a building before winter,
Before winter, good.
yes.
That'd be great.
And that should be one of the stipulations in our bidding process. It must be built and finished before winter. We'll put a date on it.
You have to be.
And if you're gonna put heat in the floor, that'll have to be considered too, along with the concrete.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that 8,000 exchange off the 37?
You have to subtract it off.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. That's the way I took it. I have not talked to Jake, but I'll tell Jake to redo this with the piping in the floor to do the floor heat and with an apron, what do you think? 15, 20 feet outside of the dump base, concrete?
I'd probably at least, yeah, the whole,
Okay. So put that out of here. Yeah, see, he has an 8-foot apron on it. You
I'd
want
probably
that?
extend the lease down to 20, 15 minimum. Because you're gonna have some, when the truck pulls ahead, you're gonna have some tailings and stuff.
Okay. All right, I will have him redo this with all that in there and, tax.
I wonder if that concrete have to be thicker out front to hold the triads.
You probably should get a heavier PSI concrete out front.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that apron. Okay, all right, we're moving anyhow. All right, next item on the agenda is the constable. He is present tonight. I know you guys discussed it at the last meeting, I was not here. From what I remember, we literally have to pick the ordinances that we want him to enforce, correct?
And then Larry would draft it to that as such, make an amendment to it as to what ordinances we wanted. You had asked me to find out about the 3-month deal. He had
Yeah.
no problem with that.
Yeah, until we see,
Absolutely.
okay,
And we could always add, Myron, you know, if there's an amendment, we can, you know, like, say we pick certain ones and then later on we say, oh, wish you would have had that one, we can add it on later.
yes.
Right.
So yeah, and my thought on this would be the weeds, things like parking. When people, we have some people continuously park their vehicles, pull off, but they're that far on the alley, and that's where they park every day. I could see if they didn't have room to get off, but they have room to get off. That's what upsets me, you know what I'm saying? Things like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, junk vehicles, and, see, he cannot back up the zoning officer, correct? Did I understand that Larry said that has to be PSP?
It wouldn't be that he's backing him up. It would be that he just go along with him if he wanted. And we were talking about Bill.
Bill,
Oh, the water collector,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
because I guess Bill got run off the property. And we said if he went along, not as a cop, just went along to assist Bill, just like you, me, somebody, anybody here backing somebody else up on the board to drop something off. It's not that he's going out there to do it. He's just going along his company.
And being in
hopefully
uniform would
The
help.
influence
Yeah,
would help calm the situation.
Yeah.
okay.
That's all.
And at that point, if something were to happen, you know, I'm there lawfully, I can act on it, I watched it happen, so.
Right,
I
right,
kind of switch hats for that moment.
yes. Okay,
That's all. It's just an influence more than anything.
yeah,
That'd be like Dave Hott having somebody go along with him, or him having Dave go along with him, just somebody more or less back up his story, and is there is, something does happen, he's there.
right, okay.
Larry says he has no authority to go.
He doesn't have any authority to go as a constable and do anything to that individual, like if Bill's
He
coming to
can't
my
arrest
house, he
him.
can't do anything to me. But I agree with what Chris is saying, just me coming to the door and tell Bill, get the, you know, H out of here, and then I see him sitting there in a uniform, that might change
Yeah.
my tone, you know what
Might
I'm saying?
change the way you respond.
Right, absolutely,
That's all.
yeah,
It
yeah.
never does. They're always angry.
Yeah, they're gonna be angry,
Yep, they're gonna be angry.
so,
I've been through that.
yeah.
Yeah, you've been throwing it out.
Do we need car insurance? I think yes.
Yes, you do have to have, we have to have insurance for him going to anything.
Okay.
And she said we'll have to carry about 3 million. She said you got the money to pay it.
Okay, so,
Because she said we used to do 1 million, and 1 million's not enough anymore. People sue for more money. Because they see an opportunity or something happens to them.
right. So that's something we need to check on.
I already did. She
Oh.
said that we have to have insurance, and
But-
we have to have 3 mil.
Yeah, but we don't have a price or anything, do we?
No.
Okay.
she didn't give a
That's what I'm
price.
saying, we have to
So you
look at.
want a price?
What's
Yeah.
the difference between him going up and put a piece of paper on a door or Ed doing it?
Well, even if it's not, well, you would even for the weeds or something like that, you'd post a notice.
Right. What's the difference whether Ed does it or he does it?
It's cheaper.
Why do we gotta have, we don't have to have insurance on Ed, do we?
Well, yeah. well,
Yeah, he's
that's
insured,
fine. Yeah.
but probably not for 3 million, Mike.
But why would he have to be for 3 million to do that?
She says, never mind what she says.
I don't
Just
know.
asking.
Yeah, it's,
She said people get irritated with someone trying to tell them what to do.
That is so true.
And she said that the state police are different. They treat the state police differently. They'll think he just put a suit on and came out there just to wear the badge and be all puffed up about it. And they think he's gonna lay a hand on him. He wants you to touch him, because then he'll sue. Because you have no authority to touch a person. It's tough. It really is tough. But now in the past, Tom always would come in and we would type letters up and we'd send them out to the people when there was a violation. Or he'd go see them about the cars and he'd tell them there is a permit you can get to have that unlicensed, unregistered vehicle on your property, but you can only do it for 6 months. Then you have to get rid of it.
right.
Everyone's always gotten rid of them then. Because they don't want to fine.
Right, but as far as like the weeds and sidewalks.
The mayor does that.
Yeah, they say Dave does that. I don't know, it's something we're gonna have to look at now that we know we will go 3-month contract. And we'll have to check on this insurance, see what it's gonna cost us.
Yes, sir. I would recommend calling up to Benner Township. I've had a contract with them since October of last year. They'd be able to walk you through it. As far as I know, they don't have insurance on me because I signed a bunch of papers stating that I pretty much act as my own authority. Same as when I work for Lycoming County Sheriff. If I do something, it goes back on my insurance and my bond that I have to carry on me. The sheriff is not liable for any of my actions.
Okay.
I would definitely recommend calling Sharon Royer up at Benner Township. She'd be a tremendous help for that. If you'd like, I'll more than happily leave you the phone number when the meeting's over.
Okay. That'll help.
Price for insurance, okay.
And anyone have any other questions for him? Or, let me ask you, what are some of the ordinances you are enforcing or in other areas?
Haynes Township, I have done some junk vehicles and burn ordinances. The burn one's very hard to do because you gotta kind of prove they were actually burning something they shouldn't, but I've done junk vehicle multiple times.
Okay.
Benner Township, they pretty much give me open book. They've called for dog barkings, they've called for overgrown weeds, they've called for junk vehicles, they've called for noise complaints.
Okay.
You know, pretty much anything petty that the state police aren't gonna wanna come out or refuse to come out and handle, I have done. I had a lady that had too many chickens running around her yard per their ordinance, which wasn't a big deal except for she decided that she'd just leave the coop open and let them go pick through the neighbor's freshly planted garden. So I was able to pretty much, I was able to tell her, listen, I don't care you have chickens. You are 3 chickens over your limit. I personally don't care. Keep them penned up. If I have to come back out again, you are gonna lose all chickens. She was more than willing to, get them penned back up because she didn't want to lose her precious babies. So, I mean, I don't know how lenient you guys want me to be up there. They give me free run of the mill, and again, I wasn't going to make a nitpick over she had 13 chickens. She's allowed 10, provided they were all penned up and they weren't causing a disturbance.
Right. Okay. Okay. Any questions?
We've been through that one.
Anyone have any questions for him? Okay, leave us, kick this around and get some answers, and if you would leave her number with Nancy.
Yes, sir. Give me just a moment. I will get it for you. I haven't remembered a phone number since 2004. Whenever you're ready, Mel.
Okay, go ahead.
814-355-1419. Her name's Sharon Royer, Royer.
814
355
355
1419.
Sharon.
Yes, ma'am. She's a tremendous help and she's a book of knowledge. Chris, you did receive the copy of the contract I have with them. I emailed you, right? Okay.
Okay, anyone have anything else for them? Not, we're gonna put this meeting to close and go into a budget session. So, thank you people for coming.
Is the budget session open to public or no?
No. Closed.
So you have time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get a hold of you. We'll keep you posted.
All right. Thank